Most people think monsters live in stories. They don't. They live here, right beside us, on the subway, in churches, behind smiles, hiding inside people you'd never suspect. Angels, demons, half-breeds walking around in human skin while the rest of the world stays blind to it all. Me, I never got that luxury. Name's John Constantine. I was born seeing things nobody else could see. Demons crawling through alleyways, creatures hiding behind human faces. Every day is a war. Heaven against hell. And somehow I'm stuck in the middle of it. This whole mess really started in the ruins of an old church down in Mexico. Two kids exploring where they shouldn't. Happens all the time. But one of them, Manuel, falls through a hole in the ground and finds something buried beneath the dirt. At first glance, it looked harmless, just the broken tip of a spear. But this wasn't just any spear. It was the spear of destiny, the blade that pierced Jesus Christ during the crucifixion, an object so soaked in divine power that heaven and hell had been searching for it for centuries, and somehow this idiot kid found it by accident. The second Manuel touched it, something changed. You could see it in his eyes, like somebody else moved into the driver's seat. He walked away from the ruins without saying a word. His friend called after him, confused as hell, but Manuel just kept walking like he was sleepwalking straight into damnation. Then came the car, full speed, hit him hard enough to kill any normal human instantly. But Manuel didn't die. Instead, some strange mark appeared on his arm, and the bastard stood back up like nothing happened. No fear, no pain, just silence. That's usually how it starts. Far away in Los Angeles, things were already getting ugly. A mother walked into her daughter's bedroom and found the girl hanging from the ceiling with a smile that didn't belong to any human being. Possession, and not the cheap kind. By the time I got there with Hennessy, the whole house already smelled like sulfur and death. Father Hennessy was one of the few priests who actually knew what was out there. Problem was, even he couldn't handle this one. The demon inside that girl was powerful, ancient, angry. I walked into the room while the family stared at me like I was supposed to have all the answers. Truth is, most days I'm improvising. The girl was tied to the bed, thrashing around like the thing inside her wanted to tear free. The room itself felt wrong, like the walls were breathing. I opened the curtains. Sunlight flooded the room. Demons hate light. Then I pulled out my medallion and walked right up to her. Most exorcists pray first. Me, I provoke, gets faster results. I challenge the thing inside her to show itself, and it did. The demon burst through her face screaming, so I slammed the medallion against her skin. Instantly, the flesh started burning. The thing howled. Good sign. A second later, the girl passed out, but the demon wasn't done yet. It wrapped around her neck trying to fight back, so I punched it. Sometimes theology is overrated. That's when I realized something important. This thing was stronger than it should have been. Way stronger. I told everyone to bring me a mirror, and I warned them not to open their eyes no matter what happened. Of course, somebody always ignores the warning. The second one guy, Pete, the curse hit him instantly. Hair turned gray in seconds. Fear spread through the room. The distraction nearly got me killed. The demon lunged at me, but I managed to finish the ritual and trap the bastard inside the mirror. Problem was, it kept fighting. The glass started cracking, so I grabbed the mirror and threw it straight out the damn window. Landed on top of Chaz's taxi below and shattered into pieces. The demon got dragged screaming back to hell. Exorcism over. Another nightmare survived. Hennessy and I said our goodbyes after that, but before I left, I told him to remove his protective amulet for a few days. Without it, he'd become more sensitive to the supernatural. I needed him to investigate why a demon that powerful had crossed over in the first place. Didn't realize then I'd just signed his death warrant. Outside, Chaz was already yelling about his taxi roof. Chaz always complained. Guess that's why I liked him. Meanwhile, Detective Angela Dodson was dealing with her own hell. Cop, tough exterior, buried trauma underneath. She went to confession after a rough shooting, but guilt doesn't disappear just because a priest tells you to say a few prayers. That night she had a nightmare, only it wasn't a nightmare. It was a vision. She saw a woman who looked exactly like her walk to the top of a hospital and jump into the pool below. Turns out the woman was her twin sister, Isabel. At the same time, my lungs were trying to kill me. Years of cigarettes finally caught up. I coughed blood all over my sink and headed to the hospital the next morning. Terminal lung cancer. Not exactly shocking news. Hell's been waiting for me a long time anyway. Angela arrived at that same hospital and discovered Isabel's body. Everyone called it suicide. Angela didn't buy it. Smart woman. heaven. Back at my apartment, Beeman dropped off supplies I'd ordered. Holy water, dragon's breath, magical insects, the usual apocalypse starter kit. Beeman asked why I suddenly needed enough weapons to start a holy war. I told him the truth. A demon had tried to cross fully into the human world. That wasn't supposed to happen. The rules between heaven and hell existed for a reason. Something was changing, something bad. So I sent Beeman digging through old texts while I headed to church to talk to Gabriel, half angel, full pain in the ass. I wanted a miracle, wanted God to spare me from cancer. Gabriel laughed that idea straight out of heaven, said my selfishness made me unworthy. Funny thing about angels, they're usually worse than demons. Angela was there too, trying to get Isabel a proper burial, but the church refused her. Apparently suicide makes people nervous upstairs. Both of us walked away disappointed. That's when things started connecting. Hennessy found reports tied to Isabel's death. Angela checked hospital security footage and saw something impossible. Right before Isabel jumped, she looked directly into the camera. Then she said one word, Constantine. That's usually when people realize their lives are about to get worse, and mine definitely did. Walking home through the rain, I got attacked by a demon made entirely of insects. Ugly bastard. I stunned it with one of my sonic tools and ran for the street, but the creature kept coming. Then a speeding car slammed into it. Exploded bugs everywhere. Hell of a mess. After that, I paid a visit to Papa Midnight, neutral ground for angels and demons, a place where everyone pretends the apocalypse isn't coming. Midnight told me demons couldn't cross over because of the balance between heaven and hell. I told him the balance was already breaking. Then Balthazar showed up, slimy half-demon with a mouth that never shuts up. He mocked me, reminded me my soul was already damned. Honestly, he wasn't wrong. I wanted to kill him right there, but Midnight stopped me. No violence in his club. Rules are rules. Later that night, Angela showed up at my apartment asking for help. I refused. Didn't want another innocent person dragged into my war. But seconds after she left, shadow creatures crawled through my window and followed her into the street. That changed things. Streetlights started shutting off one by one. Wing beats echoed through the darkness. Demons surrounded her from every direction, so I used one of my relics, a piece of Moses's robe, lit it up, and suddenly the entire street exploded with holy light. Every hidden demon got exposed and burned instantly. Angela finally understood. This wasn't about ghosts. This was war. And the only way to find out what happened to Isabel was to go to hell itself. So I took Angela back to her apartment, asked for a bowl of water, her cat, and privacy. Yeah, I know how it sounds. Then time froze. Everything stopped. That's how crossing over works. Hell isn't fire and pitchforks. It's worse. It's earth stripped of hope, burned, broken, endless suffering. And somewhere inside all that misery, I found Isabel, reliving her suicide over and over again. That's hell for you. A loop of your worst moment forever. Then I saw the hospital tag falling beside her. Important clue. I grabbed it just as demons sensed me. Suddenly, every creature in hell came running. I barely escaped back to Earth alive, burned half to death. Angela saw the truth written all over my face. Isabel was trapped in hell, and things only kept getting worse. Hennessy investigated Isabel's corpse and discovered a strange symbol carved onto her arm. Then Balthazar got to him, made him hallucinate alcohol while he drowned to death. Cruel even by demon standards. Before he died, Hennessy left us one final clue. The symbol, a cross inside a circle. At the diner afterward, Angela finally learned the truth about me, about my suicide attempt as a kid, about why my soul was doomed. See, when you try to kill yourself and survive, hell takes it personally. So now I fight demons hoping maybe someday God will notice. Pathetic plan, I know. Then came Beeman's discovery, Book 17 of Corinthians, a book that doesn't exist in any normal Bible, only in the one from hell, and inside it was the truth. Mammon, son of Lucifer, planning to enter the human world using the spear of destiny and a psychic host. That host turned out to be Angela, and before we could stop it, Beeman died. Insects crawled out of his body while he suffocated. Balthazar again. At that point, revenge became personal. I restored Angela's supernatural sight through another dangerous ritual, and together we tracked Balthazar down. I beat answers out of him with holy brass knuckles. Turns out Mammon needed God's blood from the spear of destiny to cross over. Everything traced back to Manuel, the kid from Mexico. Before dying, Balthazar revealed Angela was the final piece of the ritual. Then things spiraled fast. Angela got taken. Chaz and I stormed Papa Midnight's place, forcing him to help. Eventually, Midnight gave in and used an old electric chair to help me locate Manuel. The vision showed him at the same hospital where Isabel died. That's where the final battle started. Chaz dropped a crucifix into the hospital's water system while I activated the sprinklers. Holy water rained down across the building. Demons burned alive, screaming all around me. Honestly, beautiful sight. Meanwhile, Manuel drowned Angela in the pool so Mammon could possess her. By the time I reached her, it was already happening. Mammon inside Angela, hell trying to claw its way into Earth. We managed to exorcise him temporarily, but it cost Chaz his life. An invisible force smashed him across the room until there was nothing left to save. That broke something inside me, so I used blood magic to expose the mastermind behind everything, and there he was, Gabriel, the angel himself. Turns out heaven wanted this too. Gabriel believed humanity had grown weak, that suffering would force people back toward God, so he planned to unleash hell on Earth. Funny how angels always think pain makes people pure. Gabriel brought Mammon back into Angela and prepared to release him using the spear. I was dying, broken, out of options, so I did the only thing left. I cut my wrists. Time froze instantly, and Lucifer arrived, the devil himself. You'd think he'd be terrifying. Truth is, he was charming. That's what makes him dangerous. I told him Mammon was trying to steal his throne. At first, he thought I was bluffing. Then he saw Gabriel standing over Angela with the spear of destiny. Lucifer got angry, not because he cared about humanity, because nobody steals from the devil. He ripped Mammon out and dragged him back to hell. Then Gabriel lost everything. God stripped away his angelic power. Lucifer burned his wings and threw him down like garbage. And finally, it was my turn. Lucifer came for my soul. I accepted it, asked him for one last favor, send Isabel to heaven. Surprisingly, he agreed, but right when he started dragging me down, something stopped him. Light appeared. Pure heavenly light. Paradise. That's when Lucifer realized what happened. By sacrificing myself to save Angela and stop Mammon, I'd earned redemption. After all these years, I was going to heaven. I even gave Lucifer the finger on the way up. Couldn't help myself. But the devil wasn't ready to lose me, so he reached into my chest and cured my lung cancer. Said he'd wait for me another day. Guess he still thinks I belong downstairs. Maybe he's right. Afterward, Angela and I walked out of the hospital alive. Gabriel survived too, only now completely human, weak, powerless. He handed me a gun, hoping I'd finally become the monster everyone thought I was. Instead, I punched him in the face. Seemed more appropriate. A few days later, Angela and I said goodbye on a rooftop. I gave her the Spear of Destiny for safekeeping. Probably the worst possible security decision on Earth, but I trusted her. And me? I finally quit smoking. Started chewing gum instead. Never thought I'd live long enough for healthier habits.